Faster than a speeding bullet.
I ran until my muscles burned and my veins pumped battery acid.
More powerful than a locomotive.
An idea is like a virus. Resilient. Highly contagious.
Able to leap tall buildings in a single bound.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Betterhumanology podcast. My name is Jared Moon, and today we have a bit of an informal podcast, just like I did a few weeks ago, where it's just me and the mic talking to you guys about a particular topic. And so that's what we're doing today, informal. Just want to answer some questions that I got recently about the Murph project that I'm doing, talk about Murph a little bit more, and go over some of that stuff because, I have gotten a lot of feedback from that article that I wrote. If you're unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, I'll explain all of that in just a minute. I want to cover a few things before we hop into the Murph episode today. So 3 things. First, the book, The Garage Gym Athlete, is coming. I'm sure some of you are even getting sick of me talking about it, but it is coming. I'm really excited about the book. You can go to garagegymathlete.com and sign up to get a free digital copy. When we launch, you'll have a few days to take advantage of that free offer. But after that, we'll shut it down, and then we will roll into a Garage Gym Athlete video series. So you just want to make sure that you're signed up at garagegymathlete.com, where you can be a part of the video series, get the free digital book, and all that stuff. So enough about that. Do that if you want to. If you don't, you hate garage gyms, you're only here for the better humanness and less garage gyms, then don't do it. Whatever. But it's going to be a pretty good launch that we're having, and I'm really excited to just finally roll everything out to you guys. Second, Talon. Where on earth is that guy? The guy who, is normally on the mic with me during these podcasts where I don't have to sit here and do it alone. Talon and his wife actually just had a baby. So congrats to them. Really excited for them. And he's kind of taking a break. He's coming back in May, and we'll, hop on some more episodes and everything. But I did want to give you guys an update if you're wondering where he's at. And then lastly, reviews. Head over to iTunes. Leave us a 5-star review and a positive comment. Thank you so much to those of you who already have. I really appreciate that. If you enjoy the show, give us a review. Give us a positive comment. It really helps the show out, helps me attract bigger and better guests, who see the show as something that they want to be a part of. And so, the more reviews we have, the better. So if you have 2 minutes to do that, I would really, really appreciate it. All right, guys, today's episode, we are talking about Murph, calling it the Murph Show, if you will. And this all comes from an article I wrote at into3fitness.com, and you can check it out, into3fitness.com/Murph, and you can read the article. It's called How Not to Suck at Murph, actually How to Crush Murph. That's the title of the article. And the reason I wanted to bring this to the podcast today, I'm not just going to sit here and read the article because I'm going to answer a lot of questions I got about the article, but the article went kind of crazy, viral for a little bit there, thousands of shares from thousands of different people, and it flooded, my inbox got flooded with emails and all this other stuff, and so I was like, you know what, I'm going to take to the podcast and answer some questions and talk about the project a little bit more. And it's pretty simple what I'm doing. If you've been listening to the podcast for a little while, a few weeks ago, I think it was back in February, I challenged Talon to do his first ever Murph, and I had done a couple Murphs, and we talked about it on the podcast, and then I rolled out this announcement kind of that I was going to do Murph every week for a year, and it was kind of something low key. I said it on the podcast. I fully intended on doing it, and I was doing it, but I wasn't ever going to really write about it or probably mention it again. Maybe once it was over, I was going to, but I started to see some really awesome results, hitting Murph up once a week. For at the time of writing that article, I'd done it 6 times. At the time of recording this, I'd done it 7, and I'm very close to about to do my 8th Murph. Or have I done 8 and about to do 9. Now I'm getting all sorts of lost on this. I can actually pull it up right here. Let's see. I just finished 8, and so I'm about to do 9. So that's actually where I stand on Murph. And the main reason I was doing it, partly just because I wanted to, I actually really enjoy the workout Murph. Something I did a lot when I was active duty. I regularly did the Murph workout. And for anyone who doesn't know, the Murph workout is run 1 mile, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats, run 1 mile. And you can partition the pull-ups, push-ups, and squats as needed and start and finish with a mile run. If you've got a 20-pound vest or body armor, wear it. So that's the exact description put out by CrossFit. They are the ones who came out with the workout. But more importantly, I think that we should talk about who Murph was before I talk any more about Murph, because I do think that these hero workouts that CrossFit puts out is kind of like a double-edged sword. Is yes, we're doing the workouts in memory of a fallen hero, but at the same time, they can almost become so generic in household, people forget the person behind the workout, and I don't want that to ever happen in the process of me doing this Murph project and updating everyone periodically. So Lieutenant Michael P. Murphy, he was a Navy SEAL. He's officer in charge of a 4-man SEAL element in support of Operation Red Wings, tasked with finding a key anti-coalition militia commander in Afghanistan. A fierce gun battle ensued on a steep face of the mountain between the SEALs and a much larger enemy force. Moving away from the protective mountain rocks, he knowingly exposed himself to increased enemy gunfire to radios positioned to Special Operations Forces, Quick Reaction Forces. Though injured, Lieutenant Murphy fought on, allowing one member of his team, Marcus Luttrell, to escape before he was killed. For his selfless actions, Lieutenant Michael Murphy was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor on October 27, 2007. We honor his sacrifice and memory through the Murph workout. So that's who Murph was. If you've seen the movie The Lone Survivor, Murph is the officer in charge of that unit, and he's the one who makes the radio call and, gets shot and killed on the rocks. So if you have seen the movie, that's who Murph is. So that is what this is who this workout is remembering. Every time we do it, every time I do it, you do it. That's why it's called Murph, and that's who you should at least give thought to at some point during the workout, before, after, or during, all three for me. So having told you who the Murph is, going back to this project. So the Murph project, I decided I was going to do Murph once a week, every Saturday, and just hit it up. And part of the reason was because I like the workout, and then part of the reason was to kind of take Murph off the pedestal, because I feel like a lot of people put this workout, because it's 600 repetitions of calisthenics with a 20-pound vest on, and it has 2-mile runs. I mean, it's pretty grueling. It can take some people an hour or more to complete it. I know that because when I was active duty and I prescribed this workout to people I trained, it could take people a really long time. But one of my training partners, he's the one who actually kind of made me realize this, is because I even had Murph on that pedestal for such a long time. Him and I did Murph in the morning one time, and it was pretty tough, pretty grueling. We were pretty beat up, and then later that day, we already had a training schedule planned out, and he was like, "Hey, dude, it's we're supposed to be doing 1-man, 1 barbell squats tonight." And I was like, "Dude, we did Murph today." And he was like, "So?" And that just kind of clicked with me. I was like, "Hey, all right, yeah, hell, let's go squat." So we squatted, and guess what? We didn't die. It's not that crazy. Your body can handle the volume from time to time. But I kind of wanted to throw myself in this experiment and see, how is my body going to break down? What are the results that I'm going to see, so on and so forth. And that's why I ended up writing that article, How to Not Suck at Murph, on my site, because after only doing it for 6 weeks, I started to set a lot of PRs, and you can read the full details. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and read you the article. If you want to go to into3fitness.com/Murph, you can read about the entire thing. But I PR'd my 5K, I PR'd my max rep pull-ups, my 500-meter row, 30 muscle-ups per time, Elizabeth, Diane, just PR'd a bunch of stuff, and it was all unexpected. And so that's why I ended up writing the Murph article. And the coolest thing about this entire project for me is not the PRs. It's not doing Murph every week. It's how fired up so many people from the Into 3 Fitness community got from me writing this article, and then them telling me that they're doing it too. I mean, from every level, there are guys who, are just killing it. They're doing Murph, and they're doing it, really fast, and it's really impressive. From people emailing me telling me that they just completed their first ever half Murph, and it took them like 45 minutes or whatever. So awesome. It's so awesome to see everyone out there pushing themselves, emailing me about it, tagging me on Instagram, and everything. And having said that, if you do want to follow me on Instagram just for this project, I'm posting my results, good, bad, or ugly, every Saturday on my Instagram account, and I think at EO3Fit. You can find me there on Instagram, or just search for my name, Jared Moon. I'm sure you'll find me. But it's been a lot of fun, really motivating to see everyone else out there doing Murph too, and that came with a lot of questions. So I'll do two things. In the article, I talk about the strategy. I'm going to go over the strategy a little bit more towards the end of this podcast, because maybe I can go a little more in-depth than I did in the article. But also, starting off here, I want to answer a couple of questions I got from this. So I'll just answer them quickly, and then we'll hop on to my best strategy for doing Murph. All right, questions. So are you doing 20 sets of 5, 10, 15, or 20 sets of 5, 20 sets of 10, 20 sets of 15? Said another way, don't you have to finish the pull-ups before starting the push-up? So the exact workout description, some of these questions do just center around, am I doing the workout correctly? And the workout description is, I'm not going to say it's vague, but it doesn't go into strict detail. It says partition the pull-ups, push-ups, and squats as needed. So that means however you want, And then it also says if you've got a 20-pound vest or body armor, wear it. Not you must wear body armor. It says if you've got it, wear it. A lot of people get hung up on these little things, but no, what I'm doing is 20 rounds of Cindy. If you're unfamiliar with Cindy, Cindy is a workout, CrossFit workout of 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, and 15 squats. I think it's 20 minutes, as many rounds as possible. And so that's what I do essentially. I run a mile, I do 20 rounds of Cindy, and then I run a mile. So that's what I'm doing. And per the workout, I'm partitioning as needed. And I found that this is the fastest way, but I'll talk about that when I talk about strategy. All right, next question. It said, are you having any issues with tendonitis with a high volume of repetitive movement? Then he said, I think it's a great challenge, and I'm looking forward to starting. Well, awesome that you're looking to do it too, but so far so good. I haven't had any pain, any injuries, nothing abnormal so far, but I'm only 8 in, about to do my 9th, and we have 52 total to do. So I'll keep everyone updated. I'm sure something's going to happen to me, but we'll see. I'm trying to be really smart about recovery. I really focus on recovery after Murph. I don't just do the workout and then go about my day. I do focus on recovery. Okay, another question. Can the run be broken up too, or does it strictly have to be 1 mile at the start and 1 mile at the end? I think breaking it up into half miles or even quarter miles throughout the rounds of other exercises would make the running portion pretty fast, and also like a little break from the bodyweight movements. What are your thoughts? My thoughts are, yes, I think if I could do 800-meter intervals with calisthenics in between, I would be probably a lot faster. But to answer the question strictly, that's no longer Murph. Murph is calisthenics sandwiched between 1 mile runs. So you have to do a full 1 mile, do all the calisthenics, and then full 1 mile. So you can't do that, but I wish you could. In the article, I mentioned that I rearranged my rest days, and I didn't change my training so much. And so one of the questions was, how did you rearrange your rest days? Also, do you do the same amount of lifting? So I'll start with the first question there. I do the same amount of lifting. I'm working out 3 to 4 days plus a Murph. So I'm either working 4 or 5 days a week, and those 3 to 4 days during the week are, should I say, business as usual. I don't really factor in like, oh, I'm squatting heavy today and Murph soon. I factor that stuff in a little bit, but not a lot, because I don't want my training to become this like Murph centric where I'm afraid to do anything because Murph is coming. Like I said, I'm trying to take Murph off the pedestal. So for me to, not work out all week because I know I have Murph coming on Saturday, that's back to putting on a pedestal, and that's not what I want to do. I want to just be able to hit it in my normal training and not have to worry about it. So doing, yes, pretty much the same amount of lifting, same amount of volume with Murph added in. And then how did I rearrange my rest days? I don't train the day before Murph, and I don't train the day after Murph. That's basically my rule. I think that's going to help me stay injury free. I don't think that it's 100% necessary for most people, but I think if you're going to be hitting Murph up every single week, it becomes a little more necessary, because I really focus that next day, the day after Murph, on recovery, with whether that's contrast showers, mobility, ROM WOD, whatever you want to do. That's a lot of the stuff that I'm doing. I do ROM WOD. I do, play around with the lacrosse ball. If I need to take Epsom salt bath, I do ice baths. It depends on the training and how bad it was, because each Murph has been very different. So what's my recommended warm-up is another question. I don't do a huge warm-up. I get my shoulders really loose because I don't want them to get injured on the pull-ups, because I am doing kipping pull-ups. And then so my warm-up is pretty much on the rower. I do about 5 to 7 minutes on the rower, and I'll row like a minute of just arms, a minute of just legs, and then a minute of full row. And it really loosens me up and gets me prepped for that first mile sprint. Okay, and then another person said, I thought you had to do all the pull-ups, then move to the push-ups, then move to the squats. We covered that. You can partition them as needed. Are you doing strict pull-ups or kipping pull-ups? Out of curiosity, what have your mile times been, first and second mile? And good luck. I am doing kipping pull-ups right now. I'm going to be experimenting with all different versions of Murph because I have a year here. So I'll be doing strict pull-up Murph. I'll be doing kipping Murph. I'll be doing all sorts of crazy stuff. So what have my mile times been? So my fastest mile time with a vest on has been 6:17. And I noticed without a vest, because I did the first couple without a vest, I normally would hit the first mile sub 6:30, and then the second mile would be sub 7, but above 6:30. That's without a vest. With a vest, I can still hit that first mile at 6:30 or under. But that second mile is what kills me, and it's probably because I'm so fatigued from the vest and the calisthenics, but I'm hitting somewhere like 8:25, 8:30, 8:40 on the second mile. So my performance on that second mile dramatically drops off compared to no vest. And if I could get that dialed in, my Murph times are going to go way down, but I'm not there yet. All right, so someone asked, wouldn't you get the same results by doing high-load cardio that pushes you like 30 to 35 minutes a week? Basically, the question is, couldn't you see a lot of the same results that you're seeing just by doing, longer aerobic workouts? The answer is, I don't think so, because the results I'm seeing are across a lot of different domains. Maybe if I did like 30 to 40 minutes of interval work at the track, but it still wouldn't have helped my calisthenics as much. I don't think that if I were to just go run for 30 or 40 minutes, I would see anywhere close to the same results. So no, I don't think so. Someone else asked, this isn't really constantly varied. Do you think it's the best way to make gains? What kind of gains are we after? That's the question. I think it's making me better at a lot of things right now. So how long that'll stick, we'll see. But, I think it's just, it really, when it comes down to it, it's running and calisthenics. And you know what it's going to get me better at? Running and calisthenics and other things that involve that. Where the limit is, I don't really know yet. That's why I'm kind of not giving any definitive answers on a lot of this stuff, because this is an experiment for me too, to do a workout like this over such a long time period. But it's helping right now. There's no way that this could make me less fit. So I'll say that. There's no way that I'm like, at the end of this, I'm like, oh man, my Murph time went up 20 minutes. Like, that's not going to happen. I'm only going to get fitter. So I will continue to make gains. In what areas, we'll see. All right. So one person asked, so you're going to make it harder every few weeks. So like a heavier vest, strict pull-ups, hand release push-ups, longer distances, keep increasing the difficulty of Murph. And the answer there is yes. I want to try all sorts of different stuff because I think it'd be really fun. I've done, and I'm doing it slowly, but I've did no vest Murph for a while, and now I'm doing vested Murph, and then once that one stops kicking my ass, maybe I'll try some other variation. But the vest it's pretty taxing right now, and something I think I really want to go back and track is the weather in comparison to my Murph times, because this last Murph, Murph number 8, I did a little bit worse than Murph number 7 by like, I think 20 seconds or 30 seconds or something like that. And the humidity was off the charts in comparison. And I could feel it. Like, I was just like, man, I feel like it wasn't that hot. It was just super humid. And I was like, man, I just feel awful. I feel super hot. I can't cool down. And I felt it. And I live in Dallas, Texas, so I haven't even seen the heat that's coming yet. So mid-August, July time frame here in Texas, doing Murph outside, it's going to be pretty brutal. And I would expect that if I'm not fully acclimated and ready for it, my Murph times could drop minutes once the weather gets over 100 degrees in the middle of the day. All right, so that was the majority of the questions. If you do have any questions, follow-up questions, or want to know anything, just hit me up on Twitter or Instagram. I'm at EO3Fit. I'm happy to answer them, or shoot me an email from the website contact form at Into3 Fitness, and I'll be happy to answer any of them. But like I said, the coolest thing is seeing you guys doing Murph out there too. So I challenge you. I'll be doing it for 52 weeks. If you want to just join me on one, I'd love to see that. I did say I was going to go over my best strategies before I sign off here, so let me go over those real fast. Because, and I threw out this disclaimer in the article, and a lot of people thought it was funny. It's because I said, I don't know your fitness level or what you can handle, so consult your doctor, priest, lawyer, coach, and whoever else you need to before taking my advice on Murph. This is what works for me. High volume, high intensity workouts can be dangerous, so don't be stupid. That is my advice. Maybe you don't listen to me because this is what works for me. It's not going to work for everybody. But my first piece of advice, and this is like a principle for the Murph workout, is do not stop. Realistically, you do not have a reason that you need to stop. I mean, if you feel like you can't actually do the workout Murph, then you need to scale it to a format where you do not have to stop. So that's pretty simple, is just don't stop. And I know it's way easier said than done, but you'd be surprised. And what I mean is I don't mean that you have to be going all out the entire time. I just mean don't stop. Don't start walking on the miles. Don't take a little breather in between your push-ups and your squats. Just keep moving, even if it's really slow. Maybe you're getting to the end of your capacity, but just keep moving. Do not stop. There's no reason for you to stop. And like I said, if you feel like there is, then you need to scale it. But you should always be able to slowly be moving to the next exercise, or just keep shuffling your feet in the run. Don't ever turn it into a walk. Even if you could walk faster, at least make it look like a run. Make it look like a shuffle run. So don't stop. That's the basic principle there, because this is something it made me a lot faster at Murph. Is I would run my first mile. I'd run my ass off, come in at sub 6:30, and I would be out of breath, just like, man, that was tough. And then I would wait a minute, not a full minute, but like wait a second, chalk the hands, then hop on the pull-up bar. And no, you can't do that. It's too slow. And even resting, like sometimes I'd plan rest in my head, be like, okay, once I get through 10 rounds of Cindy, I'm going to take a break, chalk the hands, get a sip of water, then knock out the last 10 rounds. No, there's no reason. You run straight from the mile, you grab onto the pull-up bar, you start moving. There's no reason for you to stop doing the calisthenics. And once I kind of got over that mental hurdle, that's when my Murph time started dropping and going way down, and a few other of these strategies I'm going to talk about. So the mile runs, they're after you have that principle, there are 5 or 6 basic rules or strategies that I can give you. So the mile runs, we kind of talked about this, but you don't walk and you don't slow down. And that first one needs to be as fast as you humanly can go. Just go and worry about what's going to happen in the calisthenics when you get to the calisthenics, but make sure that first mile is fast. And then apply the principle of do not stop once you get to the calisthenics, and then you're going to be dog-ass tired by the time you hit that last mile, but it's okay. And then you're going to do the last mile, and that last mile is truly the biggest mental test, because I do see, having programmed and watched a lot of athletes do this, I see them come back from that last mile and they're basically recovered. You've gone too slow. You've held too much back. Don't do that on your last mile run. You should be gasping for breath when you finish that last mile run, in my opinion, on this workout. All right, so the calisthenics, big picture, I told you I do 20 rounds of Cindy, and that's not just because it was suggested to me. That's because I found that's literally the fastest way I can get the calisthenics done. 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, 15 squats for 20 rounds of that. And it gets monotonous, it gets brainless, it gets crazy, but you just keep moving, you just keep doing it, you do not stop. I've tried doing all 100 pull-ups first, all 200 push-ups, all 300 squats. I've tried doing bigger sets. I've tried doing smaller sets. I've really tried a lot of different stuff, and that's not just in the last 8 weeks that I've been doing it. Like I said, I've done Murph a lot of times, and I've tried everything, and what works best is the 20 rounds of 5, 10, 15. All right, so the pull-ups, I'm pretty good at pull-ups, so I don't really struggle, but I did have a lot of questions about the pull-ups. The thing of the pull-ups is you're only doing 5 at a time, and so I recommend doing them unbroken, and if you can't, then the recommendation of do not stop is going to kind of come into play here. I would do 1 pull-up, drop, like be on the ground for maybe 1 second before you're starting to put your hands back up, and then try another pull-up until that's not working anymore. And if you're just really bad at pull-ups, you haven't got there yet, no worries. You're going to be working on your pull-ups in Murph, so you're going to get a lot better at them. How you want to do that will be probably banded pull-ups, and you can do it where you wrap the band around your back and under your armpits to the bar, or you can do the knee and the band, or however you want to. I personally like the one where it's assisting the torso a little bit more, because I feel like it's a little more realistic of a scaling option. So that's it for the pull-ups. The push-ups, that's my biggest weakness in Murph. I'm good on the pull-ups, I'm good on the squats, but the push-ups get to me. I fatigue pretty fast on the push-ups, and so what I do, trying to keep with that, like not actually resting and taking a breather, is I'll do 5 real fast, because I'm always good for 5 push-ups, but then I'll have to rest for a second, and then I'll do 5 more. But like, it's not like a rest. It's not like I'm, oh man, let's take a breather, shake it out. It's like I'm still in the push-up position. I pause momentarily, just enough till I feel like I can do some more, and then I'll do 5 more until I can't do that. If I can't keep that anymore, and every time's been different, then I'll just do that same strategy. But I never like take a break. I never get up and like rest from the push-ups. So squats, this is where I immediately cut multiple minutes off of my Murph time, is when I learned that I could do the squats faster. And I guarantee that if you just do the squats faster, you're going to learn that you can do the squats faster. It's that simple. If you watch yourself or watch other people do it, you'll see that a lot of people use the squats almost as a rest period. They go down, they come up, they probably pause for half a second to a second, go back down, and we got 15 squats each time. So if you are actually taking a second of rest at the top of every squat, that's 300 seconds, and that adds up really fast, adds like 5 minutes to your time of Murph when you could be going faster. So just keep that in mind. Keep moving fast on the squats. And then lastly, the last little thing I have here is pacing. And this comes down to the principles of just training alone and working out by yourself. You need to know your splits. And so I have a Ironman Timex that I've had forever. It's a 100-lap counter, and so every time I press the button, it starts a new lap. And that's great because now I have it running for the mile time, but then I have it running for all of my calisthenics. And so I can see how long it's taking me to do my splits of 5, 10, 15. And if it's taking me more than a minute, then I know I'm slacking off. I prefer that to be in like the 45 to 50 second range and just keep moving and keeping myself accountable to that time period. And if I see something, like sometimes I'll see a split go up to like a minute 20. I know I'm just getting really fatigued and I'm going to have to dial it in. But having the accountability there is the biggest piece, because if you do just kind of look at a clock when you start and you look again when you've finished, that's not how you're going to get faster and better at Murph. But that's it, guys. That's it for the Murph podcast. If you do have any questions, let me know. Follow me on Instagram if you want to watch, see my results and see how things are going. But as I started the podcast, I'll end it the same way. I don't want this to, become too generic. Remember who Murph is, Michael Murphy, and what he did. And always keep that in mind when you're doing this workout. But other than that, guys, here's to becoming a better human.
Your best. Losers always whine about their best.